I'm Bookkeeper, and I'll be playing the Reverend Dr. Alexander Hutcheson, the Avalon Scholar.
I'm Clara Allison, and I'm playing Lucia Di Felici, the Vodace Strega.
Hello, my name is Typhoon, and I will be playing Heinrich von Groth, the Isen war veteran.
And I'm Bloodied Porcelain. I'll be your storyteller for the evening. Alexander. You've only recently arrived in Montaigne, after an only vaguely unpleasant trip, thanks to a nasty thunderstorm, by ship to the mainland. The trip took just over a full day, because of the storm, and rather than sailing across the channel, then along the Montaigne coast until the rivers could take you nearly directly up to the borders of the capital of Montaigne itself, you were deposited in a tiny town on the northern coast and forced to take a carriage on from there, thanks to the war and the occasional outburst of violence in occupied Castile, making the journey less than safe. The carriage ride was somewhat more comfortable than the boat ride, though only somewhat. 2.5 days in a cramped box pulled by horses over uneven roads ranging between barely tended and not tended at all doesn't make for wonderful reading time. Though you do your best. Huddled in with 2 others. One, a dour, sullen-looking man in the sturdy but somewhat worn clothes of someone from the upper middle class in Isen. All dark colors and dressed-up practicality, and a man in his early 20s dressed in clothes that from a distance could fool the untrained eye into believing he comes from more wealth than he actually does. Unfortunately for him, yours is no untrained eye. You can tell his family has more money than the common folk in Montaigne, but they are far from the upper echelons he pretends to. The young man makes only passing conversation, more with the Isen than with you after seeing your simple garments and assuming that you are of lower breeding than is worthy of his notice. Though the stone-faced man barely offers him a word or two in response, leaving the young man to lapse back into what seems to be the occasional bout of nausea thanks to the uneven road conditions. After time on the road, you finally arrive in Charouse and are met near the entrances of the city by a representative of Le Grand University who was told to be expecting you. He's a mousy man in his, say, about mid-20s, going prematurely bald, and with round spectacles balanced on his nose. He looks distinctly uncomfortable being out in the sunlight among other people. But when he sees you, he gives an eager wave.
Alexander extricates himself from the carriage, his own spectacles somewhere up in his hair, the cobblestones having successfully bounced them nearly off of his head several times. He blinks a few times, sees the man waving, and returns the wave jauntily.
Alexander, have you been to Charouse before?
Alexander has lectured at La Grande Université on mathematics twice.
Ah, then you are familiar with the city.
I am.
As you approach the man from the university, you see that his clothes are rather typically ink-stained, a little ill-fitting. This is not a man who thinks about his appearance so much as whether or not his clothes will make it through the next season before he might have to have them replaced or mended. He spends his time with books, not people. Why would he care what he looks like? He looks somewhat uncomfortable with the press of bodies. This is a relatively busy area. There are a lot of carriages and carts coming through. The Emperor's birthday is in a fortnight, give or take. So there are a lot of people arriving into the city to start preparing for the festivities. And of course, there is always the war effort, so there is always things going out of the city as well, headed for the front. He pushes his spectacles up his nose just before they look like they're about to topple off, and kind of gives you a quick once over. Bertram, yes.
Bertram Coghill, at your service, sir.
Pleasant to meet you. We should go. We can talk at the university. And
Of course.
Oh, go ahead.
Of course, monsieur, he says, putting on his tricorn. But if you would be so kind as the pleasure of your name, so that I do not have to call out, "Hey, you," from here to the university grounds.
He looks somewhat abashed, a little embarrassed by having overlooked something so simple that he should have offered on meeting you. Alcide.
Alcide. Is that Monsieur Alcide? Professor Alcide?
Monsieur, not a professor yet.
I join you in our lack of academic credentialing. Are we walking? I must bring my chest.
No, I have a cart. It's not anything fancy, but
Splendid. Nothing fancy is exactly what I prefer.
He points to where there is a donkey, harnessed to a cart. That looks like it is probably used by the university to help bring things from around the city whenever they have to send out for supplies or whatever. It's old. It looks like it's probably going to creak a little bit, but it should get the job done. Unfortunately, the press of bodies in this area is so thick that it is unlikely that he can bring the cart closer. So the two of you have to go over, grab your chest and haul it over to the cart. Thankfully, you are both men of learning who have to muscle around books on the regular. So while it's not an easy effort, it's not as difficult as it could have been.
I regret having brought my extra set of volumes on the lives of the Castilian kings.
Well, hopefully they will be helpful to you in your endeavors, sir.
Hope springs eternal, much like my shoulder.
The two of you manage to haul the chest into the cart, and then wearily and gratefully climb up into the seats on the front.
What ho, majestic steed of ignoble academia. On then.
He gives a little flick of the reins, and you all set out, or the both of you set out across Charouse. For our listeners, Charouse is a city that is sprawling and massive and nothing short of beautiful. The thoroughfares are impeccably maintained. It looks like people probably come out and scrub the cobblestones. All of the stone is bright and clean. Where there are lawns, they are well manicured and painstakingly maintained. They are the buildings are frequently rather tall. Most of them are at least 2 stories. Some of them are 3. Occasionally you see one that might have like an attic that serves as a 4th floor. There are a number of long groups of buildings that have clearly been built right up next to each other, almost like modern townhouses. And you make your way through Charouse, with Alcide having to occasionally snap the reins on the donkey's hindquarters to keep it moving because it keeps wanting to stop at every fresh patch of grass or interesting smelling cart, like it is eager for a snack. Occasionally he grumbles at it, talking about if the university would just put a little bit more money into getting a proper horse, this wouldn't be a problem. And they'd get everywhere much faster. And these trips that he has to make to visit or to meet with visiting academics or when he has to go pick up supplies wouldn't take half as long.
Alas, good sir, neither donkeys nor students can be induced to move faster than they will.
Unfortunately. However, over time, after a bit, you arrive at the familiar building that is La Grande University. No one stops you. He moves in, drives the cart into the yard. A young man who looks like he's probably just like a local boy from the city who happens to be employed to work at the work in the stables and to help with menial labor around the university, darts over to take the donkey's reins, and looks at the chest and then looks at the two of you like he's wondering how you got the chest into the cart.
The miracles of physics.
I'll get some of the boys to help bring it in if you'd like, sirs.
Merci beaucoup, good sir.
Alcide kind of gives him a nod. Come on, inside. We'll what is it you Avalonians like to drink? Tea?
He would be splendid, however, when in Numa or in Charouse, if there is wine, that would also be welcome.
Wine is easier to procure, so we will have wine.
Splendid.
He leads you inside. The school is, as you remember, not much about academic places tends to change in the short term. They are places that are notorious for becoming very set in their ways, much like the people who work in them, and do not change easily nor often. However, it is much like the rest of Charouse, a beautiful building. And there are people inside. They tend to move around in groups of 2 and 3, usually with their heads down, whispering to each other about this and that. Frequently, it's academics. It's usually an academic thing. So occasionally you hear people talking about the celebration that's to come up in a couple of weeks and how it's going to shut the entire city down for 5 days and how incredibly tedious that would be. That sort of thing. And he leads you past students and professors alike. Most who barely look up, you get the feeling that Alcide is almost like part of the furniture. People don't really take that much notice of him. He's not important enough to really notice unless they want something. And he leads you deep into the bowels of the college, that's not the college, the university's main building, to where the large kitchens are. Where there is already a bustle of staff who look like they might be working on like a midday meal, or starting on dinner. And he kind of gives an appraising look for a moment as he walks in. Francois, wine, cheese, please. A kind of heavy set man in what looks to be like a cook's clothing turns and looks over, kind of huffs a little bit, and then turns and starts pulling what looks like a chunk of bread off of, out of a basket over here, and a block of cheese from over there, and slicing it up into edible pieces and that sort of thing. And after a quick moment, there is a platter of bread and cheese and a bottle of wine and 2 glasses.
Deus bless and keep you both. My teeth, nearly shattered upon hardtack over these many weeks, are in your debt.
Francois kind of gives a curt nod, shoots Alcide a kind of dirty look, and then goes back to whatever it was that he was working on. Alcide sort of rolled his eyes at the curt handling, and kind of gestures for you to grab the wine and glasses.
Indeed.
And he grabs the big ass platter, and leads you out of the kitchens and down the hall into a. It's not quite an office, but it's not quite a study either. It's a research room. There are like shelves and filing cabinets all along the walls, and then a table in the middle, half of which is covered in books and papers that look like he was probably in the middle of working on something this morning, and the other half of which is cleared, where he puts down the platter. Well, have a seat, monsieur. I apologize that there isn't a bigger contingent to welcome you, but everyone here is very busy.
Not at all, not at all. I am but a humble cog in the great machine of knowledge. Fanfare is not required.
He sort of nods. Well, this is where I do most of my work, but the boys are likely don't have your chest in your room yet, and they only started opening it up to air it out this morning, so you might want to give it an hour or two before you go wandering in there. It'll be musty.
Of course. I will pour him and myself a glass of wine.
He will happily take it, and lift it in a toast. To you and whatever project it is you are working on.
And to petty tyrants in kitchens everywhere that we must tolerate nonetheless.
And he drinks deeply of his wine. Is there anything in particular you would like to talk to Alcide about, or would you prefer we jump forward?
Nothing in particular, but I will be pumping him for the most recent gossip and for what's been going on around the city.
All right. Unfortunately, Alcide is It is. You get the feeling that he might know some things, but he's one of those people who probably doesn't know he knows a lot, if that makes sense. He does not find other people and their problems all that interesting, so while his mind probably has plenty of information about them, it is hard to guide him to the things that are important, because he doesn't really deem them particularly important. In the end, though, the couple of things you do get is that, with the celebration on the horizon, basically the whole court is in town. You'd be hard pressed to find anyone important who isn't. And everyone is expecting this to be a very big and important event. It promises to be one of those things that is going to be entertaining for everyone. Even the academics and the common folk, unless they are specifically working during the celebration, are supposed to have the time off.
Oh, splendid.
Beyond that, there isn't a whole lot else that he has to offer. He will, however, enjoy a lovely snack with you. Between the two of you, you drink not the whole bottle of wine, but a good chunk of it. And he is happy to let you take what is left back to your rooms, which he shows you to. Because you are here under an assumed identity, you have not been given a room of the caliber that you had last time. It's not bad, but it is much smaller. There is a small writing desk in the corner. There is a bed that is just big enough for one, maybe two if you squeeze. And it's got like a single window that looks out onto the stable yard.
Ah, fragrance. Splendid. Thank you very much for your hospitality, Alcide.
Of course. I am given to understand that someone who is supposed to be helping you with your research should be here in the morning.
Wonderful. I shall then take my rest. Thank you so much.
He nods and turns and wanders off. In the morning, you wake up to a knock on your door.
No. Your husband? Oh, what? Hello?
Good morning, Bertram?
I will stagger my way from the bed to the door, crack it open.
Standing in front of you, it is a man with blonde hair. His clothes are rugged, not necessarily cheap, but certainly made a lot more for hard living and hard travel than for finery. His hair is pulled back in a ponytail at the nape of his neck, and his shoes are kind of dirty and scuffed. He looks more like he is dressed for being like outside than in the halls of academia. Bertram?
Yes, I am Bertram Coghill. I beg your pardon, I have only recently woken up and I always take about 10 minutes to remember my name. How may I be of service to you?
I'm Johannes. I'm your contact from...
Won't you come in?
Yes. Thank you. And he walks in. He looks as awkward and unsure about exactly what to say as you do. And once the door is shut, he kind of like immediately puts his ear to the door and listens, like he's trying to make sure that there's nobody outside who is listening in. And then he kind of drops his voice to a whisper. I apologize. I thought you'd be up by now. It is easiest if we leave early.
I see. I fear I have spent many of these past several days being bounced around like a toddler being passed among relatives. So I fear sleep in just a bit. Give me just a moment to prepare myself and I'll be ready to go. What should I be bringing with me?
Dirty shoes, whatever you may need to take notes, and if you've got drawing paper, that might be best.
I have all of these things. And he will indeed put on some a plain outfit, grab out one of his blank books and some sheafs of paper and a couple of pieces of chalk and charcoal.
Excellent. Oh, I don't know if you'll need it for this, but if you have a book on the stars or a star map?
Yes. The Organization of the Firmament. Here we are.
Excellent. All right, we should go. There.
Very well.
He leads you out of the university. Once you are on the streets, he rummages in a bag that hangs from his shoulder, and holds out a bundle that he is untied, and you see that it is a number of bits of dried fruit. Breakfast.
Ah, thank you kindly.
I'm afraid we don't have time to stop for anything fancy.
No, not at all. I presume this is a matter of some urgency.
It is. We only have a few interspersed windows throughout the day to get into the sewers without being noticed. So we've got to move quickly.
Understood.
He kind of hurries you through the city. You take... you've been here before, but you kind of always stuck to the main thoroughfares, and once you start moving through side streets, you realize that the city's kind of a labyrinth. There are streets and cross streets and intersections, and there are times where you're pretty sure that you've doubled back on yourself at least once. But eventually he comes to stop at on a small side street, where he sort of glances around. Could you make me a wits and... Let's just do a wits check.
You bet.
DC 15. Awesome. You realize as he's looking around for a moment, number one, there are no musketeers or lightning guard or anyone of any like authority seems to be on the street. In fact, the only person who is on the street is a man outside of what looks to be a shop that specializes in selling like papers and journal and quills, ink, that sort of thing, who is sweeping the front stoop of a miraculously clean front stoop. And he sort of looks up, and the two make eye contact, and the man nods, and Johannes nods, and the man turns and wanders back into his shop, and that's when Johannes reaches down and hauls up basically a manhole cover. All right, down you go.
Splendid. And I descend.
Excellent. He follows you, pulls the cover closed, and you find yourself at the bottom of a metal ladder in a long, fairly dark tunnel. After a moment, there is you see a spark, and then a torch flares to light. All right, this way. I think we might run into some of the locals, but the ones here are friendly enough.
Oh, good.
Alexander, you have heard stories about La Petite Charouse, the city under the city. What you do know is that rather than demolishing what seemed to be ruins when the current Charouse was built, they built it on top of these tunnels and decided to just turn these tunnels that had been here into a sewer system to save themselves some work, rather than creating their own sewer system. The general thought in most academic circles is that there might have been something worth finding down here once upon a time. But since these ruins have been turned into a sewer system, and B, sometimes end up playing home to people who can't afford homes above ground, anything that was worthwhile, or anything that was worth finding, is probably gone. So it's weird that your colleagues have sent you here, of all places. But he leads you along. Again, labyrinthine, probably more labyrinthine here than it was up top. It's even harder to know where you are down here because everything sort of looks the same. There's long tunnels. There's the occasional little antechamber off to the side that is so incredibly dark past the edge of torchlight that you can't see anything. There are doorways that are open, some that are closed. Occasionally you pass by bricked up arches. You realize that some of these bricked up arches have crests etched into the stonework. You can guess that they are probably tombs, burial places for the grand families who live above ground.
Do they bury people down here?
Yes. Sometimes. The important ones, anyway. And, well, some unimportant people get buried down here, but they don't have markers. Johannes does not seem at all disturbed by this or perplexed. This all seems very normal to him.
When Johannes turns back to begin leading again, then Alexander will gulp.
What's wrong?
Nothing.
I told you we're safe. The locals are friendly. They've been paid well enough to be. It's the musketeers you have to worry about. They don't like people down here. We're not sure why. They do everything they can to stop us from being here. And he leads you along. After about an hour of walking, you round a corner that doesn't even look like a corner. It's almost something that could have been missed, but he seems to know exactly what he's looking for because he makes a hard right turn and steps into what looked like unfathomable darkness. But when you step follow him in this circle of light, you find yourself walking down a much more narrow tunnel, hall, whatever you want to call it, into a room, and then into a room that is massive. The door opens and he steps inside, and his torchlight isn't the only light in here. There are several other torches that have been positioned on stands around the room, and their light creates a glow that bounces off of walls that seem inlaid with gems and jewels of all sorts, some that you recognize, some that you are sure you've never seen before. It is a tall room, at least 2 stories, maybe 2.5, with a domed roof, like an observatory. And there is very obvious painting on the roof itself. Alexander, you are looking at, I mean, obviously the whole room is miraculous. But you realize as you were looking at the domed roof, you're pretty sure you're looking at a star map, but it is not like any star map you've ever seen. Everything is out of place.
He just gawks for a moment, and it's like he can't take his eyes away from it as he, without looking, fishes into his coat, pulls out his glasses, and does a little shake thing to open them up so that he can put them on and peer again at what he's looking at. And
before you dive into your monologue, other things that you notice.
Okay.
There along the walls, is specifically at the top of the walls, right before the dome starts, are etchings. You do not know what they say because nobody knows what they say, but you're pretty sure they're Sirneth in origin. You've seen enough Sirneth artifacts to know. I think that's it for now.
Okay. And then, well, with my raise, can I tell? You said that it's a star map, but everything is wrong. With my raise, can I tell how it is wrong?
Yes. Maybe. It'll take more. You'd have to basically copy it down on paper and really start to study it. But your theory, after a few minutes of kind of walking around and looking at it from different angles, your theory is that this is a star map, but it is a star map as if somebody were looking down on it from the outside.
And it is at that moment as he's starting to correct one of the constellations. He's like, "It's not right. Vipera doesn't go that." Oh. And his mouth just starts to work sort of like a fish. And in his mind, racing at 1,000 miles an hour, Theos be good. This is... Why make... If you're here, why make a map that is the point of view of out there? Why? And how do you... Don't understand. Not even a little bit. And I've never been happier in my life. Thank you, Theos, for your puzzle. I shall endeavor to piece it together.
Should I assume that you are going to take time to copy down the puzzle?
Absolutely. He will divide the room sort of into quadrants, identify each quadrant, and draw out what he is looking at.
Okay. Johannes does not bother you. Occasionally he slips out of the room, shuts the door behind him, and comes back to check on you. After like an hour, he comes in and there is a skin of water and some bread for you to chew on while you work. But he doesn't bother you. You at least in his eyes clearly know what you're doing compared to him. So
the drawings rapidly become this sort of morass as he's sketching things into place, but then around them he's writing. At first they look like they might be arithmetic problems, but then there are letters and dashes and other symbols in there that would not make sense to people not of a particular educational bent.
Yep. Okay. Is there anything else you would like to do while you were here?
No.
Okay.
No.
We will skip forward then. Later in the about mid-afternoon, you are back at La Grande Université, and you arrive in your room alone. Johannes drops you off at the gate. Obviously, before you guys leave Le Petit Charouse, he stresses how very important it is that nobody know what you have.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
And without saying it, it is kind of implied that your colleagues at the Invisible College, one, will be expecting a report as quickly as possible, and two, will probably expect your input on whether or not this is too dangerous to be left. And you know that the Invisible College occasionally makes the call to make it so that certain discoveries never see the light of day.
Yes, I understand.
And after that, he drops, he takes you back to the university, drops you off there, wishes you good luck, leaves you with basically a calling card, tells you to, take it to an inn not far from the college and leave it with the man there, and they will get a hold of him if you need him again. But otherwise, he does not expect to see you again. And then he leaves. You return to your room, and the first thing you realize upon opening your room is that your door sounds funny when you open it. And you quickly realize why, because as you push the door open, you look down and there are several folded pieces of paper on the floor, as if somebody tucked them under your door.
What have we here? I will investigate them.
After a moment, you realize that these seem to be letters. Not terribly long ones. None of them are multiple sheafs of paper, but they are all folded up. And most of them are sealed with wax, with various family crests in them. After the second or third letter of reading through them, you realize that, you may have come here under the guise of an assumed identity, but nothing in Charouse stays secret for long. And the jig, as they say, is up. People know you're here. And these are effectively invitations from a number of families of varying prominent statuses throughout the city. Some of them are lower, on the lower echelons of nobility. Some of them are about, moderately powerful families. All of them eager to meet and speak with the famous. All of them eager to speak with the man who wrote such a famous book.
All right, Alexander, you're going to have to think up a lie. very quickly.
As you are thinking about that, there is another knock at your door.
Blast it all, I have calculus to do. I open the door. Yes?
Althede is standing there and looks very frustrated. And there is a stack of papers in his hand.
My dear friend, what seems to be beleaguering you this afternoon?
These are yours, I believe. And he hands over a stack of what look to be more invitations. I did not think you would be so popular. They've been arriving for hours.
1,000 pardons. I shall endeavor to be far more misanthropic in the future.
Have a good day. And he turns and wanders off. He does not seem to wonder why you're getting them or to care particularly. He just wants people to stop interrupting his reading. You make your way through these. And most of them are much like the others. However, the last one that you open is closed with a wax seal that I'm not going to make you roll to recognize. It is the seal of the Sémø family. And
they all have spies?
You know that family. These aren't people that you ignore.
Yes.
Would you like to know what the letter says?
I would love to.
Dr. Hutcheson, I hope you will forgive my forwardness in sending this invitation despite the lengths to which you have gone to avoid notice while in Charouse. But when the little bird told me that such a brilliant mind was in our beloved city, I knew I must finally meet you in person. I am hosting an intimate dinner with family and friends at my home here in Charouse tomorrow night, and would be delighted to have you in attendance. I believe you will find no other soiree to be its equal. Sincerely, Lady Sémø, Sémø du Sémø.
Well, she was kind enough to give me until tomorrow. I will arrange to respond, s'il vous plaît, to the lady, and then put myself in my room, lock the door, and work as much as I can.
Excellent. Thank you for watching Opus de Requiem. If you enjoy this story, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to follow more of our content. You can find all of our actual plays on our website at www.hallowedhavenstudios.com. Please consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/hallowedhavenstudios. Your support helps make more stories like this possible. Heinrich, you spent last night in an inn not far from the wealthy quarter of the city, where the nobility keep their large estate homes, after your carriage failed to arrive in the city at an hour where calling on your betrothed and her family would have been appropriate. This morning, while you were eating breakfast and your personal manservant was trying to buff a scuff out of one of your shoes, an invitation arrived. In flowing script clearly put to paper by a lady's hand, you were cordially and formally invited to the family home of the Sémø du Sémø family, where your betrothed, Diane Sémø du Sémø, will meet you for the first time.
Very well. I fold the letter up and put it in the pocket of my jacket, and think about what I need to do to prepare for this meeting. I turn to Gunther, my manservant, and say, Gunther, please prepare one of my better jackets. I'm afraid that I must go to a party tomorrow.
Of course.
And please Please have Helga care for the girls while I will be gone. I don't think that bringing children to a meeting with my fiance would be appropriate.
No, indeed, sir.
Afraid that would not make a good first impression.
We will see to it that they are taken care of.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there anything you will need for the party?
No, I believe simply my clothes will be sufficient. I don't feel, once again, that it would be appropriate to show up armed and armored for battle. However, if you would be so kind, we do need to search for permanent lodgings. I would be quite pleased if you could start searching for an appropriate house for rent.
I will see what I can do, sir.
Thank you, Gunther.
He goes about finishing putting together your clothing for the day, and then sets about pulling out what you will be wearing to meet your betrothed. Is there anything that you plan to do during the day today before you go to meet her tomorrow?
Yes, there is one errand that he needs to run, which is he promised his youngest daughter, Mila, that if she was good on the journey, he would buy her a puppy.
Delightful.
So he is going to go and search for a pet store.
Excellent. Do you intend to take Gunther with you, or are you leaving him to prepare your things for the next day?
I would leave him to prepare.
Excellent. Okay, cool. Well, Heinrich, is it safe to assume that you've never been to Montaigne? Or
No,
to Charouse?
To Charouse, no. My only experience was Montaigne has, for the most part, been fighting them.
Excellent. And I'm looking through your sheet. You have nothing to help you navigate a city, do you?
I do not.
It takes a while. You wander for probably a good 2 hours. At one point, you realize that you have effectively gone in a big circle. You've ended up right back in front of the inn, which had not been your intention. But after a moment, you kind of get your bearings. And a shopkeeper from whom you buy a little pastry because you realize that you may not make it back in time for lunch, is kind enough to point you in the correct direction to go to a place where they sell animals. For the most part, from what you can tell, this is most of the animals from what he is saying to you are, what's the word, largely bought by the nobility because they are exotic, but you may be able to find a puppy there.
I'm assuming Montaigne ladies are fond of like little purse dogs of some sort.
Perhaps. Making your way into this pet shop, you the first thing you notice is that like the thing that is currently seems to be all the rage are birds. And they are in varying colors with and sizes. But when you make your way through the back of the or through the shop and kind of into the back, you do find that there are the man who is minding the place is in the process of actually feeding a number of more common animals, the ones that are a little less eye-catching. Some are dogs, some are cats. All are in fairly clean, if slightly cramped cages where they can be seen.
Yeah, he wrinkles his nose at the smell of all of the birds and thinks that, disgusting animals. And
Of course he does.
approaches the shopkeeper and says, "Excuse me, good man. I'm looking for a gift for a small child, some sort of small puppy. What do you have?"
Monsieur, how old is the child?
7.
Boy or girl?
Girl.
Gentle or rambunctious?
Gentle.
I know just what you need. And he guides you along this row of cages to a cluster of what we know as like Pomeranians. And they are these itty bitty like fluff balls. They like, your hand is big enough that one of these could probably sit in your hand. And they are all fur.
Yeah, he reaches down into where they are and starts petting a few of them to see if any of them seem particularly friendly, and he'll grab the one that seems the most amiable.
So it is less that you're having a hard time finding one that isn't friendly, and more that they are all friendly and very excited to see you. They're all kind of yipping and jumping around, pawing at your fingers. One of them kind of does that like puppy bite on like your pinky finger and like pulls at it like it's trying to play tug of war. Eventually though, you manage to narrow it down to a kind of like orange and cream colored fluff ball that is not unfriendly, but certainly not as rambunctious as the others. Seems to have a much more calm and gentle demeanor. And when you scoop it up, it sort of it yips at you for a moment, but when you lift it up close to your face, it licks your nose.
Okay, he smiles and says, "I think this one will be perfect. How much do I owe you, sir?"
Perfect, monsieur. Out of character, the GM has never had to price a dog before. But these are very well-bred animals, so we'll say probably about 5 guilder.
Okay, he pays him.
And the man hands you over the dog, asks if you would like any of the supplies.
No, I think the dog itself will be sufficient.
Very well. Have a good day, monsieur. I hope that your daughter likes the puppy.
Thank you. I'm sure she'll be delighted.
He walks you to the door, sees you out.
Go back out, and I walk back to the inn with a little puppy.
Excellent. When you get to the inn, there is a look of concern from the man behind the counter, but you've paid handsomely to stay here, so he's not gonna... You get the feeling he will complain if there is mess. But as so long as the dog is taken care of and not left to do its business inside, you might be able to get away with it for a little while. going upstairs, your girls are there. Remind me of what your youngest name is, Mila?
Mila, and the oldest, she's 7. The oldest is 18, and her name is Nicola. And his middle child, Anna, did not come with them. She is minding the estate back home.
Okay. Mikola is currently standing in front of a mirror. Her nursemaid is it looks like making preparations to alter one of her gowns. Probably to be a little bit more in fashion with what people are wearing in Charouse. Mila, on the other hand, was laying on the floor, drawing with a charcoal pencil in a journal that you bought her before leaving home. She's filled almost every page with some sort of like doodle. And when she looks up and sees the puppy in your arms, her eyes get real big and she looks very excited. For me?
Yes, for you. And he will set the puppy down on the floor.
She...
You will have to think of a name for him, her. I forgot to check. That say him.
She jumps up and runs over and scoops up the puppy, and is immediately far more enamored with the puppy than she is with your presence. You hear cooing about how cute he is, and she's rattling off names and talking about all the fun adventures they're gonna go on, and is just kind of decidedly not terribly interested in dear old dad for the moment.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. Let her enjoy her new pet.
Your eldest, however, kind of looks at you in the reflection of the mirror and gives you a look like, one of us is going to be who ends up taking care of it.
Yes, well, a little bit of responsibility is good for a child, and the servants will help out. How are you enjoying the city? Have you had an opportunity to see the rest of the inn?
We went out for a little while. Went for a short walk. None of my clothes fit in here.
Yeah, I've noticed that fashion here seems a bit, shall we say, different than at home.
It's beautiful, so many colors.
Yes,
not so dour and boring.
And Heinrich is dressed head to toe in black and gray.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to notice or care that she just said that your clothes are boring.
Well, yes, I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave you to your own devices tomorrow. I have been invited to an event that I must attend.
Can I go shopping?
Yes, but don't go by yourself.
Of course not.
The city is quite large and very poorly designed. So I've discovered that it seems like it'd be quite easy to become lost. So take one of the servants with you.
I will. Mila looks up. Can I go too? At which point, your eldest immediately looks put upon and frustrated that her sister was not too distracted from the puppy to ruin her plans.
I don't know, Mila. I don't think you would enjoy the store that she'll visit. Why don't you stay here and get to know your new friend?
I want pretty dresses too.
Yes, my dear, I know, but pretty dresses for you will be in different stores.
Well, then make her take me to the other stores too. Why does she get to go and I don't?
Oh, because you have your puppy, and she will get a new dress, and we'll take you shopping later.
She pouts and looks decidedly put upon. Okay.
And
Go ahead.
And Heinrich will go sit down in one of the chairs in the room and start thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow. Perhaps
Excellent.
even brooding.
All right. We will skip forward then to the next evening. Do you want Gunther to go with you, or are you going to go by yourself?
He would not go by himself. I would probably he would take two of the servants with him, one to drive the carriage, one to be footmen, and they would all go at the same time. Yeah.
Okay. In that case, Gunther is going to stay with Mila. Probably try and find a park somewhere where she can take the dog. And your eldest and the nursemaid are going shopping for a new dress. They are gone long before you have to leave. Are probably out most of the day, if we're being honest. Gunther has done what he can to make your clothing as appealing as possible and as appropriate for a Montaigne party as possible. He has even done what he can to add a splash of color by tucking a colored like handkerchief into the pocket of your jacket. It isn't much. Most of your clothing is in brown, black, and gray, which is so incredibly Ison. But he does what he can with what little he has. And in the evening, you set out with your servants, a footman and a driver, who drive you into the wealthy quarter of the city. The first thing that you notice in this area of the city is that all of the houses are kind of massive. They aren't quite the size of country houses, like country estates, but easily have two, usually 3 floors, and are much bigger than most of what you would find in like Ison cities that aren't keeps. When you pull up in front of the Sisei house, the gates are opened by a pair of guards that are there, and your carriage pulls into the drive, which is like this circular thing in the front yard. The house is large and imposing. It is surrounded by other estates that are equally as imposing. It's 3 floors. There are tall walls that block off the view of the yards from the outside, and are topped with black wrought iron spikes. The gates themselves are wrought iron and open upon your arrival. As you climb out of the carriage, the first thing that hits you is the smell of roses and other flowers that you assume come from the garden of this and surrounding estates. You can kind of see hints of a garden at the sides of the building before the building kind of obscures your view. As you walk up to the front door, it swings open and you are greeted by a butler in a pressed and starched uniform with heavy frill at his neck. And he kind of looks you over for a moment. Monsieur von Groth?
That is correct.
Good day, monsieur.
Good day.
And my lady is waiting for you. And he steps aside and kind of bows for you while you make your way in.
Okay, I walk into the house.
The house itself is large, clean, and is kind of the picture of opulence. There are beautiful wallpapers on the walls. There are paintings in gilded frames. There are like tall crystal vases with fresh flowers in them, and thick opulent rugs along the floors. You can hear, if you strain your ears just a little, you can hear the quiet scurry of many footsteps. That the house is clearly alive with the activity of servants who are moving around out of sight, probably preparing for your arrival and potentially other things later on. The butler leads you through this foyer and down a hall, and into a sitting room with a large marble fireplace, and tall bookshelves on the opposite end of the room, and the couches and sitting area are all done in this kind of pale green brocade, and deep dark wood, that you actually recognize. This is something I won't make you roll for. The wood is very common in Ison's forests. And you know from your dealings with the Susay family is that they own land that used to be Ison.
I am well aware.
In this sitting room is a young woman with blonde hair, and she's quite young. She's maybe a couple years older than your eldest. She's got very delicate features and is wearing a deep blue gown, into which she has which has clearly been sewn specifically for her.
And Heinrich kind of adjusts his cravat a little and walks forward. A careful observer would see that he is pretty clearly nervous.
Monsieur von Groth, as she sweeps you, or she bobs you a very deep curtsy.
Heinrich bows and does the hand kiss. Lady, it is a pleasure to meet you at last.
Oui. I feel as if I have been told so many things about you, but it is a relief to finally get to see you in the flesh.
And it is wonderful to see you as well. And he kind of appears to be kind of struggling a little to think of what to say. You have a lovely home.
Thank you. Heinrich, will you do me a favor and roll me... You realize, standing there in front of her with her hand kind of perched on yours, as you are about to lift it to kiss her knuckles, you realize that the two of you are not alone in the room. In kind of one of in the back corner, is an older man who is sort of sitting quietly. He looks like he's probably in his late 40s. He's got a bit of a 5 o'clock shadow, slightly longish hair with some gray in it. And he's dressed in the latest fashions and in clothing that is as opulent as her own. But as so far, he has not stood up to greet you nor said anything. He seems willing to just allow the introduction to happen. When your eyes move to him, Diane's own eyes kind of go a little wide for a moment, as if she sort of forgot that he was there. Apologies, monsieur. This is my cousin, Raoul. He is playing chaperone while my mama is at court.
Of course, as is appropriate. Raoul, I am pleased to make your acquaintance.
Raoul salutes you with a wine glass. Monsieur, lovely to meet you. Finally going to take the imp out of our hair, yes? As he stands up. Diane looks a little embarrassed, but it's that kind of this is my family and he's always teasing me kind of embarrassed.
Yeah, as Heinrich doesn't have any siblings, so he probably wouldn't understand that quite as well, but yes, Raoul, it seems that we will be seeing more of each other in the coming years. As your family has also been granted rulership over my province of what formerly was Isen.
Well, everyone should be happy to become part of the greatest nation in the world, yes?
I'm simply glad that there's finally peace.
Peace and prosperity. And he sort of salutes you again and then takes a long drink from his wine glass. Diane sort of turns back to you. Would you like to take a walk in the garden? It is stuffy in here, and she will kind of look at her cousin.
It would be my pleasure.
She nods a little bit and kind of waits for you to offer an arm.
Yep. He puts out his arm. By the way, how much shorter is she than Heinrich?
She's quite a bit shorter than you. She's a good. Remind me how tall you are?
6'4".
Yeah, she's a little under. No, she's about she's almost exactly a foot shorter than you.
Okay. Yeah, he puts out his arm and lets her guide them out to the garden. You find that Diane is very good at leading without looking like she's leading. To anyone from the outside looking in, it would look like you are the one who is guiding the way. Raoul kind of follows along quietly, but he is giving you guys plenty of distance. You get the feeling that he is mostly here because it's like socially required. Would not be proper to be alone with her.
It would not. As you walk out into the garden, there is a long lull of quiet between the two of you before Diane sort of clears her throat delicately. Monsieur, I wonder how much do you read a lot?
Yes, when I have the opportunity, I do enjoy reading. I won't claim to be a great scholar, but I do enjoy reading.
I am not a great scholar myself, but I enjoy big stories. I very much like the romances. I have always dreamed of what it would be like to have a life like that, with someone who loves you so much and so passionately that they would do anything for you. Have you read any of these stories?
He opens his mouth and almost says that that's what his wife liked to read, but then closes his mouth again. And instead says, "Yes, I've read a few. It was not my first choice of literature, but yes."
What sorts do you like?
Well, I'm afraid these days I am mainly reading on the subject of economics and industry. I have a tremendous amount of work rebuilding following the war, and thus I'm attempting to nurture economic growth to help my people recover.
Yes, my grandfather made my mother study such things when she took over the family. It was she's quite good at it now. I do not have the head for numbers. I like stories, the occasional philosophy book, but I am not so smart as my mother. Oh, I suspect not so smart as you.
I think you do not do yourself justice. Your family is renowned for its wit and intelligence. And I'm sure
my mother is renowned for her wit and intelligence. I am known for being well liked. She kind of says that almost like she's making fun of herself. But you see, I must confess something. I do not think that I could be truly happy in just any normal marriage. I want romance and dedication and something that people will tell stories about, at least in our family. So I must insist that before we get married, she kind of draws a deep breath. I would like you to do something for me to prove that you are as invested in our marriage as you would be in our home.
Milady, I am a simple man, but when we are wed, I will dedicate myself to making you happy with all of my being. I'm far from perfect, but I will endeavor to do whatever is within my power to ensure your happiness.
She kind of pauses at that and turns to face you, and she's got this endearing little smile on her lips, and does something a little bit brazen. She lifts her hands and she kind of like puts them on your chest and sort of like does a little pat motion. But you see, monsieur, I could never be happy if you did not start to make me happy before we are married. And so I will ask for a very specific marriage gift as a way to prove your dedication.
Okay, well, very well. What is it that your heart desires?
I want a romance like in the stories. So, I would like you to go out into the world and perform great deeds in my name so that the stories are carried back to me. And until then, I will wait and promise that no other will have my hand.
Lady, I shall be as heroic and as romantic as I can possibly be. I will do my best to ensure that you are happy and that your family approves of our union.
Excellent. And my cousin Raoul, he will go with you to keep you safe, yes? And she kind of gestures Raoul over, who kind of looks more amused than he did before. Before he looked vaguely bored with the whole situation, and now he looks a little bit amused, like he was in on some sort of secret.
Does Raoul look like he is the type who would know how to, say, fight or take care of himself?
It is hard to tell.
Is he wearing the pin of the Swordsman's Guild?
He is.
Okay, well, that's a good sign at least.
When she sees you looking over at him, you do not have to worry. My cousin is a master of port.
Fascinating. I would love to. He looks at her. I would love to speak more to you about this sorcery. It's a fascinating subject to me, especially the military applications of the abilities.
Raoul sort of salutes you with his glass for a moment. There are a great many things in the world that are fascinating. I would not say port is among them, but I am happy to share whatever I can, and to make sure that you get home in one piece.
Yes, the ability to travel instantaneously is remarkable. Instantaneous communications, ability to transport supplies. It is a remarkable power.
Indeed. He takes another long drink at that, and Diane sort of lifts a hand and touches your chin and kind of guides your face back to face her. You will do this for me, and I will make you the happiest man in the world. And all of there will know of our romance.
And Heinrich smiles and bows his head.
We are having a dinner with some friends and close family in a few hours. If you would like to join us, I would like to introduce you to everyone.
Of course, there's nowhere that I would rather be.
Excellent. I am told that one of Avalon's finest minds is coming to dinner too.
Who would that be?
Dr. Reverend Alexander Hutcheson.
That name seems familiar to me.
He has published a very wonderful book.
Perhaps I've read it. Doesn't as I said, it sounds very familiar, but I can't think of the book.
Called Clerical Errors.
Oh yes, I do recall reading that now. Quite the satire.
He's very witty on paper.
I do recall enjoying it, particularly scathing towards the church.
Indeed. Well, if you would like to join us, I would be most happy.
I would be honored.
Perfect, and you can meet Mama.
And he smiles nervously again. I'm looking forward to it.
And on that, we are going to pause and pivot. Lucia, your troop arrives in Charouse around mid-morning, only staying on the polished, pristine thoroughfares of the city for a short time, during which you are suitably impressed. Being from Vodace, you have seen very large buildings, but Vodace's architecture is wildly different because everything is on islands and is built up almost in layers like a cake. And the closer you are to the top, the wealthier you are, and the closer to the bottom, the poorer. But the problem with that is that everything is very narrow and tight and dark and cramped, especially at the bottom. Here, things are kind of sprawled out. The main thoroughfares are wide. The trees are perfectly manicured. There are painstakingly planted flower beds. It's just, frankly, one of the most beautiful cities, or one of the most beautiful places you've ever seen. However, you don't stay on the main thoroughfare of the city for very long before your troop, led by Macaulay, turns a hard left down a somewhat narrow street. And within a short period of time, there are no more hedges or flower beds. The buildings become progressively closer and closer together. The street becomes more narrow. The press of bodies becomes more intense. Things get dark. And you could never... being on the main thoroughfare, you never could have imagined that a place so dark and dirty and smelly could exist so close to something so grand. The crowds become thicker and more populated, and Fritzy and Giselle fall in on either side of you and lock their arms with yours and kind of squeeze you uncomfortably between them, but effectively become walls between you and and the crowd, as Macaulay walks in front of you. Apologies. Claude leads or pulls along a hand cart behind him with whatever supplies the troop managed to bring into the city with them. They're all carrying their most valuable things on them, but the cart does have some things, and you notice occasionally that Claude kind of has to not so gently reach out and smack someone's hand who tries to reach for something in the cart. But as far as you could tell, nobody manages to take anything with his watchful eye on it. The troop winds its way through this mass of people and down these narrow stretches of road to where you can see a kind of rundown but large building with a sign hanging off of the front. It looks like the sign may have at one point been hung up by chain, but the chains have at some point been removed or fallen apart and replaced with just rope holding the sign aloft. You see a picture of a pig with an apple in its mouth on the bottom of the sign.
Thankfully, Montaigne is close enough to Vodace that in language that even though they forget half the letters when they speak, you can glean some of it.
Do you speak Montaigne though?
Not if I do, not well.
Okay. Well, you don't have it bought, so I'm going to assume that you don't speak Montaigne. That's fine. Fritzy has gotten accustomed to the idea that you don't speak anything outside of Vodachan, and so leans in and reads it off to you, and translates it for you. It effectively translates to the suckling pig, and that is apparently the inn you will be staying in. Macaulay walks in first. And given his height and stature, and that bright red shock of beard, people sort of part before him. Inside, it is almost full to bursting with people in the main dining room, and Macaulay walks over and speaks in heavily Highlander accented Montaigne to the man behind the front desk, who is kind of gaunt. Looks like he doesn't have good food very often, or maybe he's just one of those people who, no matter how much he eats, never quite looks like he's eaten well. He looks at you and all of your companions kind of doubtfully for a long moment before his eyes sort of settle on your dress. And he finally mutters and shrugs. Macaulay hands him over a coin. Hands him over coins, and he hands back 2 keys. And Macaulay turns to you and in an accent that I cannot do, so just imagine that it sounds Scottish, says, "That's 1 room for the lads and 1 room for the ladies." And he hands Fritzy a key to the room, to 1 room, and pockets the other. Claude goes, "Right then, I'm off to see if I can find us some work. It's nearly a fortnight before the festivities begin." And he leans in and kisses Fritzy on the cheek. You've kind of noticed during your journeys that those two have something going on, but it's hard to tell what, because they don't seem to take it very seriously. And then he kind of turns to you. "Lucia, do you want to come along? Someone should walk you out of this neighborhood, or you'll get mugged on the way. Perhaps you can go and find ton bien ami, eh?"
If he's wandering the streets, yes. I would like to explore with you.
Well, I'm going to look for work, not to explore, but I can take you to the wealthy quarter. You might be able to find the homes there. You know what his crest looks like?
Mm-hmm. I'll pull the I have the thing that I'm carrying with me as close as I can is a ledger that has the most crumpled letters. And at the top of them, I assume there is a crest.
Yeah, you have at least one where the family crest has been drawn on.
If nothing else, we'll see something that might point us the way.
I will take you that far, and then I'm going to go and talk to some of our, how you say, co-workers, colleagues. And he sort of smiles a little bit, like he is limited Vodachan. So translating has been difficult for him. Fritzy speaks more languages than Fritzy and Macaulay speak more languages than anybody else does. But when you agree, he sort of extends an arm. You should bring the letters. Mm-hmm. And he leads you out of the inn and down the street. I'm going to assume that you were leaving most of your, like, belongings with your friends and not toting around a big, like, rucksack, yeah?
Yeah, I trust I trust my friends, if nothing else. I'll take, I take the letters and I will take, my money and the mandolin as well. It does not leave my side. And because there are 3 companions who hang out in there.
That's fine. You are led back down that long, dark road, and out onto another thoroughfare. During the walk, Claude is kind of hawk-eyed. More than once, he kind of shifts you from one side of him to the other. It's very casual. He moves with a dancer's grace, so it almost doesn't occur to you until you are nearly out of there that every time he shifted you to the opposite side of him, it was he put his body between you and someone else that you were passing. But he made it feel natural. Eventually he leads you out onto the main thoroughfare, and you end up walking quite a ways. You realize as you walk that Charouse is huge. It is a massive city. At one point you walk through a place that is it's like this big plaza or park. It's lots of greenery, tall trees. There's even like a pond in the middle of the green, which is kind of wild to see in the middle of a city. And in the distance, just past it, are these massive gates. And looking past the gates, you realize that you are looking up at the largest palace you have ever seen. Think Versailles. That's what you're looking at.
They have so much room here.
Huh?
They have so much room.
They do.
As we walk, Lucia's just as big as saucers. She has no poker face when it comes to looking at new things, but she started looking more and more concerned as they continue forward. I realized, and she'll turn to Claude, and I realized I have not thought this far. I did not think we would get here.
We're not going there. That's where the Emperor lives. We just have to pass it. That is Chateau du Soleil. And the green in front of it is the plaza of the Emperor.
I don't mean the chateau itself. I mean the front step of Mi Amore. I have not considered how to introduce myself.
I would hope you would say hello. I am Lucia. You are in love with me.
And do you think that will work?
With a face like that, any man would be a fool not to fall in love, eh?
That is true. Well, in that case, it's almost over. We'll find you work, and I will find my betrothed, and we will live happily ever after, and you'll play at the wedding.
I would be most honored. He leads you past the chateau, and towards another, like a high wall with a gated entrance. The gates are open. You realize that there are musketeers outside of the gate, but they don't stop you as you pass through. Alright. This is where all the fancy people live, yeah? I need to go and see a guy about a thing, and I will meet you back here in, we'll say, 2 hours.
Lucia looks at the sun for a moment.
You will be safe in this part, no ruffians here. The musketeers see to it. And if anyone tries to be cruel, you scream. They come running. Big bang, people die. It's all very romantic.
I see. Well, wish me luck.
And he nods, kisses your hand. You do not need luck, Lucia. You just need your smile.
And Lucia will give him the kiss on either cheek and send him and start heading, I guess, towards the nearest musketeer.
Okay. Well, he wanders off. There are musketeers like literally right next to the gate where you came in, so they're not far. Or you can travel further in if you would like.
I think I'll head further in, hoping maybe there's just a big sign. Like I said, Lucia's never thought this far. She sort of assumed things would work out by the time she got to Charouse, and now we're here.
Right. That makes sense. All right. You make your way through the wealthy district. There are a couple of times you have concerns that you might have, I don't know, had some people looking at you funny, maybe being suspicious of what this random girl that nobody recognizes is doing in this very well-to-do part of town. But you became very good at observing servants in your family home and seeing how good they were at kind of looking like they belonged there, but not being overly eye-catching. And so you kind of follow that. It takes about an hour, but eventually you find a gate with this beautiful kind of filigree style wrought iron style to it, and in the center of the gate are these plates with that family crest worked into the metal. Standing outside of the gate are 2 men who have swords on their hips and are clearly acting as guards. Because you got that raise, I will say that while you're not entirely sure what kind of fighters they are, they do have the look of either off-duty or maybe like retired types. Like they're not in any particular uniform, but they hold themselves like they are accustomed to being in a uniform, if that makes sense.
Okay. So stupid. I don't speak the language. This is very stupid. I'm going to start heading towards the entrance. Not like just barging past them, but sort of assuming they're going to come meet me.
I mean, you're going to have to walk right up to them because the gate's closed anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, you draw closer and they certainly look at you. And one of them rattles off something in what you assume is Montaigne. Sounds like Montaigne, has the right accent.
At this point, like I said, Vidace is close enough, I feel, to Montaigne linguistically. If I speak it, they might understand that I am I'm not trying to threaten anyone. So I'm just going to walk up with my letters and, hello, I'm here to meet Henri, and I think he is expecting me.
Oh
yeah.
Okay. Let's go for. I'm gonna make you make a roll for this because this is unusual.
And just as charming as I can be.
Let's go for. Let's go for wits and acting. I'm going to assume that you are trying to pick up on things that Claude and Giselle have said, and the way that they say them to try to what little bits and pieces of Montaigne you've picked up.
Yep.
DC 15.
I'm gonna raise. I don't think I can make it otherwise.
Oh well, no. Raises your DC.
Yeah. Okay.
It's if you take a raise, it moves your DC up to 20, but you might get more stuff for it.
Yeah, but they might let me in.
Maybe.
I'll just do it straight.
Okay.
17.
Hot damn.
The dice want me to fall in love.
They look a little confused at first. And then one of them, his eyes go a little wide, and he talks to the other one in this kind of like hurried voice. And then he holds up a finger like a 1 minute kind of gesture, like stay here. And then he disappears through the gate and inside, and after a few moments comes back out with a young woman in what looks like a maid's uniform who looks very and she kind of glances between them and you, and they're both like babbling at her really rapidly in Montaigne, and she's just and then she finally goes, can I help you, ma'am? And she's speaking Vidachan.
I'm here to see Henri. We are engaged. I know how crazy that sounds. And I show her the letters. He might be expecting me.
She kind of takes the letters and looks at them. You get the feeling she probably doesn't read, but she does see the house symbol on them. And, madam, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but Monsieur Henri is not engaged. He has not been for some time.
It's complicated. We have decided to continue the engagement in spite of some unforeseen happenstances. I can assure you it will be fine. I would not have these letters otherwise. I have traveled a very long way. Please let me in.
Madam, I appreciate that you may have come very far, but I don't know who you are, and Monsieur Henri has not been engaged for a few years now, and the madame would not like us letting someone who does not have an invitation.
Well, if there's been a misunderstanding, I would like to speak to someone who might help me clear it up then.
She looks a little helpless, like she doesn't quite know what to say. Madam, I'm very sorry, but I can't let you in. You will have to find a way to procure an invitation. But that's not something I can give you. We are only servants. And madam, she's very strict about who is and is not allowed in.
Mm-hmm.
And without proof that you are who you say you are, and this is not going to be enough, she'll hold up the letters. Why would a noble woman from a wealthy Vidachan family come to our door alone and with only letters.
Have you never read a love story?
Madame, I don't read.
It shouldn't stop you. Can the musketeers see me? I'm sure they can, but are they paying attention?
The two guards are watching you. Yes, you are right in front of them.
No, I know. I'm trying to figure out. I'm about to do something very stupid. I'll look at the guards briefly and then a little quieter to the servant. Could I perhaps call later? I could make it worth your while.
She kind of chews her lip. I could lose my job. I have babies to feed, but... And she kind of leans in, that kind of like conspiratorial thing. If you are who you say you are, make friends with someone who knows the madame. They can bring you as a guest.
A name, any name, please.
Oh. This I cannot help you with. If word got back, it would be difficult. But I can tell you that with the Emperor's celebration coming up, his birthday, everyone is throwing parties. Anyone who is anyone is throwing parties. You find your way to one of those, make friends. Tell them your story. Someone will help you.
Thank you. By any chance, do you know where the madame will be late? If she has plans to attend any of these parties?
I believe she is putting on her own party here at home tonight. But the how you say, she kind of gestures at the houses around. The madames, the lords and ladies, they always go to each other's party. So maybe not today, but within a few days you will find your way here, yes?
Yes. Oh, I have no way of indicating this. Well, I do know a very, very good performance troupe that has just come to town. If she ever needs... If
they are very good, they might have job already.
That's possible, yes.
But I will tell her if she is looking for someone, I will mention it. Where are your friends staying?
I've fully forgotten the name of this inn.
The suckling pig.
The suckling pig, yes.
I
was trying to remember the French word.
I know it. I will tell her.
Thank you. You have been incredibly helpful. And genuinely, if I can, press a guilder into her hand as I leave.
You absolutely can. I won't make you roll for that. You have high enough stealth that is not a problem. She kind of glances down at it, and her eyes go a little wide, and she kind of gives you a little wave. Good luck, madame.
Yeah, I will head back to, I guess, wherever I plan on meeting Claude.
The gates of the wealthy district. And just in time, too, because he is wandering up and whistling a happy tune, and he looks a little surprised to see you because you're about an hour early. Did it not go well?
No.
Oh.
It didn't go Poorly. No, it's. I did not anticipate that he would not have communicated. I don't know what I expected. And Lucia's getting a little upset. Just in the like, I sort of thought this would be easy.
And he kind of rushes over, puts his hands on your shoulder, and gives him a little squeeze. It will be all right. It will be all right. We will figure it out. Yes.
They said he hasn't been engaged in some time, and that is true. Except it is not true because he has not told anyone, and that makes sense. And I don't. We've traveled so far, and I do not want to turn around now.
You will not turn around. We just got here. We'll be here for a few weeks. We'll figure it out. Come, you tell me what happened while we walk.
I will take his arm and just and start explaining it.
Begin unburdening yourself in very rapid Vidachin, which his poor, barely bilingual brain is struggling to keep up with.
Yes.
His eyes go wide, though, when you get to the end. Well, that settles it. You will come with us tonight. Tonight we are performing at a soiree. I got us a job.
Of course. Perfect. It's perfect.
And you can perform with us if you would like to help pay for your room. Or,
of course.
Or just tag along and pretend to be the hired help.
Of course. Oh no, I have a terrible idea.
Oh?
Do they have dressmaid? They would not have. No, they would. Would they have, modiste here? Of course they will.
Seamstresses?
Mm-hmm.
Oui.
Do you know the story of Cenerentola?
No.
I think I need to buy a very nice dress.
Then we will go buy you a dress. Actually, I will take you to the girls. The girls will go with you to buy a nice dress. I am not a good eye for these things.
Of course. Thank you.
For the sake of time, we're going to say that he gets you back to the Suckling Pig. Giselle, his twin, will agree to go with you to pick out a dress. Fritzy looks like she kind of wants to go get the dress, and then Claude gives her a look, and she changes her mind. And promises that whatever it is, it will surely be lovely if Giselle is helping you. And then the two of them disappear into another room. Should I assume that you are... should I assume that you are going to go buy the nicest dress that you can get off the rack?
I need the nicest, most fashionable dress I can get off the rack.
Excellent. Mark down that you are going to have to spend money on, like a full outfit for a noblewoman.
Oh, I've been tracking it.
And that is absolutely fine. Are you planning to go as a the
plan is...
Okay.
And this is insane. Lucia's going in with the troupe as performer, as part of the troupe. She's been doing, that's how she's made her way here. And the dress will be somewhere accessible. At some point, she's going to change once they're in the house, so she can pretend to be a guest. I am aware how stupid this is.
Excellent. This sounds gloriously dramatic. I love it. Take a drama die.
Thank you.
I'm doing that now because I know I'll forget about it later, so don't expect one later when it happens. Excellent. In that case...
And I have let the rest of the troupe know. This is not just me, like, she doesn't entirely go off the rails.
That is totally fine. They are kind of amused at the idea, but down for it. They do, however, make it clear that if you get caught and things go poorly, they're going to pretend they don't know you.
Honestly, yeah. What could go wrong?
Later in the evening. It is very early evening. Still mostly late afternoon as carriages begin to arrive outside of the Cissé du Cissé family estate. First to arrive are Lucia and her performer friends. They are arriving alongside servants from some of the guests who are coming to help set up and ensure that their masters and mistresses are properly situated for the party and have everything that they need to be comfortable. Heinrich is already there, having hung out at the house, getting to know his bride-to-be. Mostly in the garden, though occasionally you know, at some point you do go in and go back to that sitting room where you sit and have a quiet conversation. Raoul, for the most part, is just chaperoning. He's pretty quiet. He finds a book to read when you make your way back to the sitting room to give you guys as much privacy as he can manage. And eventually, Dr. Alexander Hutcheson arrives via a carriage that was sent by the lady of the house herself.
That was splendid. Glad I brought my nice suit.
You are greeted at the door by the same kind of stuffy butler, who bows when he sees you. Monsieur, the lady will be down shortly. If you would like to go through to the sitting room, I believe people are collecting there.
What could be finer than an entire room just for sitting? Lead on!
He leads you through the foyer and into this room, and it's called a sitting room, but you immediately realize upon entering that if this is really just a sitting room, whoever owns it has enough books to have spilled over from their personal library, because there are floor-to-ceiling bookshelves on one end of the room, and they are full.
There is a brief Belle from Beauty and the Beast moment.
And sitting on one of the couches is possibly one of the largest men you've ever seen. Gloriously Eisen in his very kind of drab attire with the shock of red at his pocket. And he is talking to a lovely young woman with a thick Montaigne accent.
I see they've spared no expense on the decorations, including even an Eisen.
Diane looks up at your arrival, and then sort of glances at the butler, who bows again. Dr. Reverend Hutcheson, ma'am. And her eyes go wide, and she looks very excited. Monsieur Hutcheson, please come in. I am Diane. Maman mentioned that she invited you, but I had only dared to hope that you would join us.
Mademoiselle Enchantée.
And she puts a hand out, knuckles up for you.
He takes it with a sweep and a polite, mostly chaste kiss.
Monsieur, this is my fiancé, Monsieur von Groth.
Pleasure to meet you, Reverend Doctor. I'm glad that you could join us. I've heard much about you.
Oh dear. And you let me in anyway. That was very good of you, mynheer.
I do say it's been a few years, but I did enjoy your book.
Well, it's been a few years, but I did enjoy writing it. Which one?
Clerical errors.
Ah, yes, that.
I did enjoy reading you poking fun at the church. I've had my own share of disagreements with their doctrines.
Well, it has been my experience that of the 3 prophets we have experienced, none of them seem to lock themselves away in towers and contemplate the glories of Theus and then keep it to themselves. I can only write what I see.
And have you experienced any difficulties from the church as a result of your views?
Well, as it happens, the head of my church is Her Majesty the Queen, who has thus far had precious little to say on the matter, other than please stop drinking all my wine.
Ah, here comes Raoul from the corner. And he salutes the Reverend Doctor with his wine glass. And Diane kind of laughs a little bit. Forgive me, this is my cousin, Raoul.
A pleasure, monsieur. Now, the Vatican Church of the Prophet, sadly, is without leadership, and therefore the neck seems to be flailing this way and that, and the hands getting very grabby.
Well, with the level of corruption that their power brought, I can't say that I was surprised by the problems that they're having. But, alas, I think that criticizing the church is probably not a topic for polite company.
Oh, are we in polite company? I thought we were in Montaigne.
We are in the best company Montaigne has to offer. Whether something is polite or not, well, let's say we might have differing opinions, yes?
I shall endeavor not to disgrace my countrymen with boorish behavior.
But that is what is most delightful about your countrymen.
Ah, I see you have met us before. Splendid.
We will jump forward a little bit as guests begin to show up and filter in. The two of you were promised an intimate family and friends gathering for just dinner. After a bit, you begin to realize that you have very different opinions about what constitutes intimate from the Montaigne nobility. It feels like half the town is here. Every room that is open to guests is a bustle with people talking and chatting. Alexander has ample opportunity to show off that rapier wit, and gets pulled into more than one philosophical and theological debate by the let's just say rather cavalier about the church Montaignes. And in the middle of all of that, a group of players has set up in the corner of a room of what is effectively a ballroom that has been taken up by people kind of milling about, and there's servants with hors d'oeuvres kind of passing around as people are like talking and chatting and drinking. There isn't a whole lot of dancing going on, but the troupe is beginning to set up. Lucia, are you playing with them at this point, or are you slipping away now that things are appropriately busy enough?
I think I'm gonna slip away just because I don't want more people seeing me with the troupe.
Understood. That is easy to do. You were shown where the servants' halls and rooms are. This is one of those houses that was built with hallways behind the walls for servants to be able to move around unseen when they need to. And you suspect probably for the nobility to be able to sneak around from room to room after hours. You find yourself a probably like a not oft-used storage closet that's big enough for you to move around in to change into your dress.
Heck.
How are you going to make your reappearance?
I want to wait till everything is in full swing now. It seems that there are enough people here that one could conceivably have lost track of how many people have entered or who came with whom. And so once I'm fully dressed and have gotten my hair in something that looks approximate to what everyone else has done, I will just slip back out and start trying to be I'm not stealthy, but just casual, if that makes sense. I'm not going to make a grand.
You want to look like you belong there. I'm going to give you a drama die, and I would like to hear your monologue.
All right. So Lucia has ducked into the servants' hall and is dressing, and with not an insignificant amount of swearing, just because these dresses are not designed to get in for one person to get dressed in. But as she steps out, in her head, there is music playing beyond what is actually in the space, and it is. She, in her heart of hearts, wants to make a grand entrance and knows she cannot. So Lucia has cast herself as she has cast herself as Cinderella, and gives herself a moment as she steps out from the servants' hall and just lets herself take in this moment. Like, it is so rare to know when you are taking the first steps in a great love story, and this is going to be part of how we tell our children the story of our love. And she looks around and is taking in all of the people speaking a language she does not understand, and realizes how, like, it kind of tamps down how silly she feels a little bit. Just this, she knows that this is an insane thing she's doing, and she cannot stop herself. And so she takes a deep breath and tells herself, just breathe, and things will work out. Just breathe. And she starts slipping through the crowd.
Excellent. I would like a panache and fashion check. You can add your bonus dice from above average beauty. At the same time, I would like from Alexander a wits and
Can I spend my drama dice here?
roll first. Your DC, by the way, is 15. And I will give you a free raise for the dress.
Hell yeah.
To raise it to 20. If you want more than that, you can raise it. You roll your drama die after you roll. If you need to meet your DC, because if you fail to meet the new DC, you just fail.
Okay.
Well, okay. Roll me.
Wild.
All right, so you get to keep 2. So that's 19 plus 7 is 26, and your DC was 20, so you make it.
Oh, good.
Cool. Alexander, let's go panache and socializing. Heinrich. Wits and perception. DC 15 for the both of you, sorry.
Okay. I will take
Okay.
one raise.
I think I will do the same.
So you both need to make a 20. Jesus. Well, all right, Book. Alexander gets a 32.
10.
Okay. Heinrich is out of his element, doesn't understand, or it doesn't really notice anything in particular going on. Alexander, you are in the process of regaling a group of Montaigne nobility with your witticisms and your charm and shit talking about the church, which they always love. When you catch out of the corner of your eye a young woman who is clearly she is well dressed, but with your trained eye you can tell that she does not have a personal seamstress. This is something that she bought in a shop, and might have managed to bring in here and there where needed. She is beautiful, and while she is doing very good at looking like she belongs there, is also kinda clearly not meant to be there, or maybe just feels very out of place.
Oh, intriguing.
She's also pointedly not talking to anyone.
Dr. Hutcheson will extricate himself, no doubt by encouraging someone else to start showing off how witty they are, and drift in that direction.
Lucia, an older man, is walking over to you. He also does not quite fit in with the crowd here, but you have seen him having like kind of raucous conversations with people where he was making people laugh an awful lot. So even though he physically doesn't look like he belongs, seems to fit right in anyway.
Lucia looks at him and gives him, I guess, a little curtsy, and just says, "Parlo vodace."
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, thank God. Thank Teus. How do you do? Remembering that she is still not supposed to be telling people who she is, so she still has to pretend she belongs here.
I am well, thank you so much, Signorina.
Giulietta La Traviata, and I'll give him my hand. Forgive me, when I'm overwhelmed, I sometimes forget my own name.
I hear that's going around. And I will give her knuckles a kiss. Dr. Alexander Hutcheson, at your service.
Oh. At the risk of sounding entirely uninterested in you, I am looking for someone in particular. But I have miscalculated and I do not speak the language.
Not at all. I shall endeavor to restrain my devastation. Whom are you searching for?
Let me pull up the name. I am looking for Therese Roy Irene. She perhaps might be at this party. Or perhaps her son, Henri.
Alexander,
Yes.
please roll me wits and politics.
Yay!
DC 20.
All right. No raises on this one.
Excellent. She is not going to find a member of that family at this party.
No.
Jamais and Therese do not. It's never been admitted out loud. It's kind of one of those like unspoken truths that everybody just acknowledges. They do not get along.
1,000 pardons, Signorina. Unfortunately, La Grande Dame does not attend the parties of the Cissé du Cissé. The two families do not get on.
Oh.
You would, however, know that they do have they do have friends in common.
There might, however, there is undoubtedly a few people here who are more friendly with the Royal Reign than our hostess and her family. Perhaps we might look together.
I would greatly appreciate that.
And I would greatly appreciate I would greatly appreciate a beautiful young woman on my arm, regardless of whether I am the object of her affection or not. Shall we?
Yes. Yes, and I'll take his arm and give it a pat and just say, I'm happy to exchange my presence and elevated beauty for translation services as well.
Brilliant. You'll get along famously in Montaigne. Follow me.
Excellent. Are you going anywhere in particular?
I need to case the room, I guess, to see if I can't find someone who stands across the great gulf between the two families.
Okay. Okay. Give me. Let's do another wits and politics, DC 15.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
I will go ahead and take one raise on this one.
Okay.
To hopefully find someone who thought I was witty.
All right. Yeah. You do. Well, less that you were witty and more that, she greatly appreciates a sharp mind. You see Irene Levesque Dois, who is the the cousin of Luc Levesque Dois, the son of the man who founded the Levesque, or is currently the head of the Levesque War College. And she is also considered one of the most renowned singers in all of Thea, but especially in Montaigne.
I think I spy a likely prospect.
You also know that she being a singer has a flair for the dramatic and loves a good love story.
Tell me something, Julieta. How are you with do you enjoy music and do you enjoy romance?
The sound that comes out of Lucia is the least ladylike thing possible. I only say this because my mic cut it out. It's sort of a snort and also like a squeal.
But I grew up in the Highlands. I know exactly what that sound means.
Yes. To distraction.
This should go smashingly then.
Irene is currently standing and having a conversation with Heinrich. Diane has been shepherded away by the lady of the house to meet with someone or other who has come to the party, and it is of the utmost import that the woman of the hour, so to speak, talk to this guest. Leaving Irene as one of the few people in the room who knows enough about the military, given her family, to actually be able to hold a conversation with an ice and war veteran. And she is talking to Heinrich about the finer points of his training at the great ice and swordsman schools.
Yep, and he's discussing the differences between fencing weapons and the heavier weapons that he prefers in their applications in fencing.
As Alexander and Lucia approach, Irene sort of looks over and, Dr. Hutcheson, have you met Monsieur von Groth? He's such delightful stories about the swordsman schools in his home country.
I have had that pleasure, yes. How are you enjoying yourself, mynheer?
Oh, it is quite the party. I particularly am enjoying the wine. In my homeland we do produce some excellent vintages, but when compared to Montaigne, I must admit that we are defeated.
Irene kind of looks from Alexander to Lucia and realizes that Alexander has a drink, she has a drink, Heinrich has a drink, Lucia does not have a drink. My dear, you are without refreshment. One moment, and she'll kind of turn and spot a passing servant and snap her fingers to get their attention, and they come over, and she takes a drink and then shoos them away like they mean very little. They're just set dressing, and then she turns and hands it to Lucia. There you go. One should never be at a party without refreshment.
And to make the point, I will then translate that from Montaigne into Fadaci for Juliet.
Oh, she does not, I see.
She does not, but she has enlisted me as her interpreter for a matter. Well, one moment. I'll turn for Fadaci. What is it exactly you're looking for?
Shit. I'm trying to find a friend of the family of the Roi Reign.
Indeed. To what end?
And Lucia makes a bit of a show of looking around to see who all is in the space. It is a bit of secret.
I will turn back to Irene. The lady wishes to engage you in an intrigue involving the Raw.
Those are dangerous people to get into intrigues with, but consider me interested.
I do believe it is romantically oriented.
Oh, matters of the heart.
Lucia recognizes enough of what he said in Montaigne to nod enthusiastically.
Well, I would love to hear her story. Shall we? And she kind of gestures around, making a show of looking conspiratorial. Shall we move out to the gardens for some privacy?
Indeed.
Monsieur von Groth, will you come with us?
Of course, I wouldn't miss it while thinking these people are all insane.
You have no idea.
The four of you make your way outside.
And when she's confident that Lucia is naive, she's not stupid. When she's confident enough that they really do have privacy, she'll start to explain it. With Alexander translating. What do you know of Vodace? Specifically how we are women.
I have performed there many times. Enough to know that some of your women have all the power and the other have the rest of it. But few people like to acknowledge it.
When I was little, we did not think that I would amount to anything. I'm from a very small, low noble family. And so I was betrothed to someone who was not of Vodace, specifically Henri. As I got older, my family saw fit to dissolve the engagement, and re-engage me to a Vodacian noble. However, Henri and I did not stop writing to each other, and have done so as often as we can until about 2 months ago. And Lucio will produce the letters at this point.
I see. You have been writing to Henri, Roy and Reine?
Sort of. Yes. In so much as when I can find someone to dictate to, yeah.
I see. I see. And you would like to get in touch with him again?
Yes. It seems that he also kept the secret, which is very romantic, except it's posed a bit of a logistical issue.
And so you must present yourself to his family to try to force the matter.
See.
I see. Well, she looks a little thoughtful, and you notice that she does not open and read the letter. She kind of glanced at the family crest, and then left it at that, like she's not looking to pry into private things.
I have traveled with actors for over a month to come here and to find him.
That is quite romantic. This sort of thing stories are made of, yes? And she looks at
Yes.
Alexander.
It is indeed.
Have you perhaps thought of trying to employ someone to sneak him a letter or some correspondence?
That we had been. We have just arrived today. I admit I assumed that I could arrive and they would know that I was coming and things would work out.
You are, that is a very... You move quickly.
As I said, the trip took months.
Yes, but you just arrived in the city today, and you are already at a party you are not supposed to be at to find someone to get you an audience.
Yes, it's true love.
And for that reason, I will do what I can to help you, because I love a good love story. And I think that the look on... And she says this, looking at Alexander in a... you might not want to perfectly translate this kind of look. And I think it will be very funny to see the look on the Grand Dame's face when this happens. I must tell you, though, I have not seen Henri in months. I don't think anyone has. Hold on. Before you continue, we have to ask Alexander, do you perfectly translate that, or do you change some of the words or leave parts of it out?
Translated as, I am looking forward to the surprise that will come to the family.
Love that. Love that. That's perfect. Now you can continue, Lucia.
Did you translate the part where no one's seen him in months?
Yes, I did.
But his mother is always in the city. She almost never leaves.
Henri, has he taken ill?
I don't know. No one has seen him. If anyone would know where he is, his mother would, though.
Yes. Well, perhaps, she would know, yes. Perhaps, we could arrange, if a meeting could be arranged, I'm sure she would understand the situation.
I'm sure she would, and I would be happy to accommodate.
Lucia just hugs her.
Irene looks a little shocked, but chuckles and pats her back. It will take some time. All of the noble families are very, very busy. Most of us have full cards for the next few weeks because of the Emperor's birthday. So it may not happen until at least once the celebrations begin, perhaps after.
Of course, what's a few weeks compared to years.
Forever with your beloved.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Well, this will be fun. And that, I believe, ladies and gentlemen, is where we are going to end for the evening. The party goes on. Everybody has a lovely time. Alexander is charming and witty. Irene pretends that Lucia is her +1 so that she does not get kicked out of the party. And Heinrich, you are simultaneously a curiosity and a marvel to everyone who meets you, given that you are the biggest man in the room. And everyone is a little shell-shocked that Diane is engaged to an Ison.
And at some point, do I meet my future mother-in-law?
Oh, you do. All of you, at least in passing, meet Sémø. Sémø is the queen of the roost. She rules over everything with charm and grace, witticisms and elegance. She is the type of person who can compliment you, or insult you while making it sound like a compliment, tell you to go to hell while making you look forward to the trip, and does it in such a way that everybody laughs, and while there might be hurt feelings, no one has the nerve to show it. Overall, she seems approving of you. She seems amused that you were willing to indulge her daughter in what she required, but at one point makes a comment about happy wife, happy life.
Wise words.
And that is where we will stop for the evening.